Look, everybody on YouTube will show you the highlights and the successes, the wins, the bright side of getting rich in the online world. But nobody shows you the dark side and what it really takes. I want to show you what really happens when you decide to walk this path. The sacrifices, the loneliness, and the mindset shifts, just the real truth about succeeding and making millions of dollars and having all of this crazy stuff in the online world. And if you don't hear this before starting your online business journey, it could cost you years of your life. And to make this super clear, I'm gonna be breaking this video into two different parts. First part will be the truth about what your life is gonna look like before you make it. And when I say make it, I basically mean get to a comfortable income, maybe $10,000 or $20,000 per month, from the comfort of your own home and laptop. And the second part of this video, I'm gonna tell you about what happens when you do make it and when you become that guy that makes $10,000, $20,000 a month, or even millions of dollars a year. So look, when you're first starting, you're gonna feel an immense amount of pressure. You're gonna face an immense amount of doubt, criticism from parents, teachers, friends, everybody, and I mean everybody is going to hate on you. The truth is, a lot of this hate and a lot of this criticism and doubt isn't even coming from the wrong place. Your parents, for example, they love you and care about you, I promise, but they can't yet see that this is the best thing for you. Because if you have this deep burning desire deep down where you know you're built for something more with your life, you know you're built to walk your own path and create your own destiny, people around you aren't gonna see that because you haven't proven yourself yet. You haven't shown the world that you are a top 1%er, you are an entrepreneur, you can set your own path. And so they believe the best route for you is to be as risk averse as possible, is to go into a safe career, a stable job, or to get a college degree or an education that is going to guarantee that you can have a roof over your head and some food on your plate. But I promise you, if you decide to listen to them and you decide to go this route, you are signing yourself up for a lifetime of being miserable. And look, I'm not trying to shit on people who are working a 9 to 5 or people who are going to college. I think that's great. The world needs all types of people. I'm just saying, if you're similar to me, if you're someone who deep down knows you need to do something for yourself and you cannot fall into society like everybody else, then I feel you, bro. And I understand this is gonna be, without a doubt, the most challenging, the most difficult part of your journey is these early stages where everybody's criticizing you, people are mocking you, people are laughing at you. A lot of that is from love and is from the right place. They're just misinformed and they don't know what you're truly capable of because they don't have that in them. But on the other side of the spectrum, you will face a lot of criticism from people who want to see you fail. They deep down maybe feel that they could do that too, or they wanted to set their own path or do their own thing in life, but ultimately they can't because they're cowards. They're afraid of taking risk. They have no self-confidence in themselves, and so they're projecting that onto you. They're thinking, you're no better than me, and I can't even take the risk and do it, so no way you'll be able to do it. Ha ha ha, let's make fun of you. What's really cool is when you decide to do this, within the first few months, it will become apparently clear to you who those people are, and the best part is, now you can cut them out of your life. And I know it's easier said than done, but if those people are never gonna support you in what you truly want, then they shouldn't have been there in the first place. They don't deserve your time and your energy and your love and your connection, whether as a friend or a family member or whatever it is. So in this early stage, a big part of your success will come down to building an indestructible mindset, of being able to constantly take these rejections, criticisms. When I first started my social media marketing agency at 18, I faced 100 no's, 100 rejections from cold calling businesses before I finally got a yes and got my first client. If I gave up after 10 calls, 20 calls, I never would have got a Lamborghini, my dream life, a home in Dubai, traveling, my dream girl, everything. Truly, the number one thing you can instill in your mindset right now is that you only lose when you decide to quit. If you just keep showing up every single day, there is no universe, there is no world where you don't win. And hijack my confidence. When I started out, I was broke, I was a nobody. I looked up to all these people that I watched online and it felt so far away. But within a couple of short years of just focusing on the inputs and showing up every single day, I eventually cracked it and I got everything that I ever wanted. I cannot think of a scenario where this doesn't hold true, unless someone had like an early unfortunate death or something like that, God forbid. But every single person I know that's ultra successful just did not fucking quit. And every single person who isn't where they want to be, or who's upset, or who's complaining, or who failed, they just stopped. This is not a matter of intelligence. The richest or the most successful people in the world are the people who just refuse to take no for an answer, who refuse to hang in the fucking towel, no matter how hard shit gets. Now, another thing that you're going to be facing during this time period is that you're likely going to have a lack of community. You're going to have a lack of good friendships, good circles. And what I mean by that is, like, look, if you're in college, you immediately have a community, a network, people that you show up and talk to every single day. You have friends you go grab a beer with. Same thing if you're working a job, same thing if you're in high school even. But when you're working for yourself, in the early stages, you haven't had time to build a team yet. You haven't had time to come up with people. You're in this phase where it literally feels like it's you against the world. So my advice here is just embrace it. Learn to love the feeling of having your back against the wall and feeling like it's you against the entire world. And when I look back on my journey over the past 7 years, those have genuinely been some of the fondest moments of my life, where everybody doubted me and nobody thought I could succeed and end up where I am today. I think this is the most difficult paradox of it all. It's like during this period of time, you're chasing freedom and setting your own path in life, yet you're gonna feel less free than you ever have and more chained to your own thoughts and being locked in and at your computer all the time and having no results to show for it and not having any kind of freedoms outside of your work. I'm here to tell you right now that that is part of the journey. Every single person, all of my millionaire friends, myself included, went through a lock-in phase, whatever you want to call it, monk mode if you will, where you just shut out all distractions and you just spent 100% of every day solely focused on your goal of creating that freedom and creating that life for yourself, even if it's just the first few steps that sets it all up. This hit me particularly hard when I was 18 years old and I was sitting behind my computer every single day, clocking 12, 14-hour days, and all of my friends were out working as servers, making a couple $100 a night, doing weekend road trips, flaunting their cash, spending their money, living it up. And I was thinking, gosh, did I do this all wrong? I remembered my first year in college, I hated that shit. I could not do it for more than a few weeks. And again, I'm not trying to knock these kind of people. I'm just saying that if you are the type that has that feeling that you know you are built for something more, then trust me on this. You are not behind. You are not wrong for locking in. You are not wrong for being broke. You are exactly where you're meant to be right now. And you need to just keep that foot on the damn gas pedal until you make it. It will be extremely difficult. It will test you in every which way. That first 6 months, that first year, that first real lock-in phase will really strip you down to your core, and the only way that you'll survive and make it through will be by having a strong enough why. Every single day that you're going through this and you're seeing your friends or people out there enjoying their life and having a great time and you're locked in, you need to come back to your reason why. My why came from my childhood. Every single day growing up, I saw how hard my parents worked to provide for me and my two brothers. My dad was coming home at 7, 8 p.m. after draining 12-hour, 14-hour shifts. It looked like the poor guy had nothing left in the tank and had nothing left to give. Now, I'm extremely grateful for how I grew up. My parents gave me everything and they really blessed me and allowed me to have the opportunities that I have today. But seeing how hard they worked lit a fire under my ass that created a massive sense of urgency. Like, I need to act now so that by the time I'm 40 years old, I can have millions of dollars and be free. If I can do that earlier, then even better. And that's what I did. And 5 years later, I became a millionaire before I even graduated college. So another thing that goes into all of this is that if you want that freedom and if you want the perfectly balanced life, you're gonna have to accept the reality of you living your life in seasons. That's how I had to live my life. I didn't know what balance was. I created my own version of balance, which was taking 6 months, locking the fuck in, and then taking another 6 months and traveling around the whole world and checking out of business entirely. Now, I am making it kind of sound a bit doom and gloomy, but there is a cheat code. There is a way around. It's not all that bad to go all out and lock in, and I'll tell you why. If you can find a passion for the skills that you're building, the stuff that you're working on, and if you can find it more enjoyable to the point where you would rather be working than going out and having a beer or going to a college class or socializing with friends, then you've done it. You've cracked it. That was the point where everything shifted. I started to love what I did so much, and I just became obsessed with clocking in on the damn computer every single day that I forgot about all of the other options that I had in the outside world. And I zoned in so hard, and before I knew it, I had made hundreds of thousands of dollars online. And when I look back on it, it literally just felt like a blip in my life where like I was just locked in insanely hard for this period of time. And then I popped out the other side with a bunch of skills and made a ton of money. And when I talk to everybody as well, like all my friends who've made millions of dollars, they all experience a similar phenomenon. So even though it sounds bad and it sounds like you're gonna have to sacrifice everything and lock in, somewhere along the way, as you start to get good and develop your skills and enjoy what you're doing, you're gonna fall in love with the process. And that is when you catch momentum and you no longer have the doubts, you no longer worry about, will I fail? You no longer think about plan B, you no longer are concerned with people criticizing you or doubting you or mocking you. You just fell in love with doing the work every single day, and eventually the results come in. It genuinely got to the point for me where every failed product test, every time I lost hundreds of dollars in ads, I would just think, I'm now one step closer to succeeding. And that's another key mindset shift or a reframe that you can make, is like, the most successful people are just the people who've failed the most times. If you treat your failures as the stepping stones to your end result and you fall in love with failing, like I genuinely enjoy failing and falling flat on my ass because it gives me the fun of getting back up and trying again and trying something new, that is where you are meant to be. And you know, some days this will all really hit you hard. The world unfortunately just doesn't work in linear straight lines and in a perfect fashion for success. It usually looks like this, and then all of a sudden when it rains it pours and you get a massive spike up of success in a period of time, and then you're plateaued, maybe going down a bit. You can almost think of your life and your career and your success as like a stock chart, right? You might have these super lows, but those lows are really just priming you for your next all-time high. So to sum everything up, in the early stages, it will be a battle. It will be a fight. You will lose sleep. You will struggle. You will suffer maybe a little bit of anxiety, a bit of pressure, a bit of doubt, a bit of burnout. But again, that is all normal. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Forget trying to be liked by everyone and start to be comfortable being the black sheep. And if you're not comfortable in this period of time, then I hate to say it, but you're never made for what's coming next. So I believe in you. I believe if you clicked on this video, you are the black sheep in your family, in your peer group, and you are ready for what's coming next. So now let's talk about part 2. So what you can expect and what you'll feel like when you make it. And again, when I say make it, I mean a comfortable income. If you're making $240,000 a year working a job, which is a lot where I'm from Vancouver, Canada, that $240,000 puts you in the highest tax bracket, which means you're getting taxed about 50%, which means you're only taking home $120,000 a year. Now, if you're making $10,000 a month as an online business owner, you have a lot of different tax advantages and ways to not pay the same amount as somebody who's working a job. $10,000 a month essentially gives you the same freedom as somebody who's working an insanely high level job and making $250,000 a year. And so we'll go ahead and use 10K a month as the benchmark for this. And so I think at this point in time, your family and friends and your peer groups, your teachers even, are gonna start to see your results. You know, maybe you're pulling up to class in a new car, maybe you've got some new clothes, maybe you're telling your parents about the money you're making. You feel like you're finally gaining some peace and validation, and the hard work is all paying off. And the coolest thing here is now, instead of having a million reasons to stop what you're doing, you have a million reasons to keep going. This can also be your biggest weakness. You are now in the danger zone, in the danger territory that I fell in, because the mindset that you built, that you worked so hard in those early stages to make it, might continually haunt you, because you've now became a person that refuses to take no for an answer. You became a person that has an insanely delusional belief and self-confidence in themselves. You became the person that's showing up every single day and working hard towards your future, and you're not going to let that stop. You're going to have this fear and this paranoia that everything could come crashing down if you don't keep your foot on the gas and you don't keep progressing. Not to mention the lifestyle creep. You're living at a higher level because of your income. That's going to lead you to even more paranoia. You know, the life of freedom that you thought that you built could just become golden handcuffs. It is infinitely harder for you to go from $10,000 a month back to zero than to just stay at zero from the first place, because now you've tasted what life is like at those levels. And that is the most depressing thing, I promise you. You will get stuck in this headspace where you're stressing every single month that your income is going down and you're gonna start losing your lifestyle. For me, this hit me really hard when my, first big dropshipping store came to an end, and I went from making $5,000 to $7,000 a day to practically $0 overnight. And the hardest thing about it was that I had to uphold this facade that I was still making all this money to my friends and family, because after all this time, people finally saw me as somebody they could look up to. People finally got to sit back and say, wow, he actually did what he was going to say. I can't believe he did that, etc., etc. And it's like, it put me in this really weird spot where I couldn't let them down. After everything I had been through, and after I had constantly had all these fights with my parents, and everybody told me not to do what I was doing, and I finally did it, and I had success, and I lost it. Do you know how hard that was, beyond face it, to have to share that and tell people that I was wrong, and I tasted a little bit of money, but I messed everything up, and you were right, and I have to go back to college, and I have to start again at square one? That was the most brutal thing. I couldn't do it personally, so I spent another 6 months pretending to everybody around me, while I was basically depressed because I was losing money every single day and I was suffering, but I was pretending that everything was all right and I was still the man making thousands of dollars a day. So the lesson in there is, even when you make it, it's still life. Shit can happen. I lost $80,000 in a single night in crypto. I had my 6-figure a month business go to zero. I went from making $30,000 to $50,000 a month in profit to losing $10,000 a month. And yeah, this was some of the most difficult periods of my life, even worse than when I had started in the first place. However, the one key difference and the one big advantage you now have over your previous self, who hadn't made it at all before, is that you have the proof that you've done it once. And if you can do it once, you can do it again. Another thing that'll hit you once you've made it is your identity will start to change, and you'll outgrow old relationships, and you find that you won't fit in with the same people or the same social groups anymore because you won't have as much to relate on, and you almost feel bad when you're talking to people, and you're excited about your businesses and what you're building and the money you're making and the trips you're taking and the stuff you're buying, but other people aren't going to relate. And that's where you're going to have to make the hard decision to not cut off your day ones. I would never ever say cut off people that you love and that you're close to, but just expand your circles and start to meet and spend more time with people who are more similar to you and who are on the same path as you. So that way, in your conversations, you can relate more and you can understand each other better. Now, another thing that you might start to feel when you make it, so this could be a year, a couple years, even a few months, but for me, it was about a year and a half after I started, okay? And at this point, I'm 20, maybe almost 21 years old, and yes, I'm making good money, I'm successful, I can take trips, I'm free, but I kind of start to have this creeping feeling that I've wasted my youth, and that yes, I might be richer than my peers, but at what cost? And it's not like I can just stop everything and start enjoying my youth, because I still have to run this machine that I've built. I still have to keep progressing forward, because if I'm not progressing, I'm dying, I'm stagnating, and then I'm gonna lose my income and my businesses are gonna shut down again, and I'm gonna be right back to square one. I'm gonna lose all my money, right? It's never enough. I have to work harder. I have to keep going. I feel so far behind. And at every level, you're gonna keep feeling that. When I was at $10,000 a month, I'd look at the guys making $100,000 a month who were my age, and I'd feel so far behind that I have to work so much harder. When I got to $100,000 a month, I looked at the guys at $200K or $500,000 a month, and I felt so far behind. So you'll always be exposed to new levels at each point in the game, and if you've built yourself into that person who does not refuse to quit, who loves to keep moving forward, who loves to challenge themselves and compete with others in your industry and other industries as well, then yeah, it does get difficult to deal with. And even to this day, I mean, I feel behind all the time, almost every single day. The problem is I'm so future oriented, because the past 7 years I've always lived in the future. I've always imagined this version of myself that I'm working towards, and taking decisions and daily habits that align with that so that I can actually become that person. And because I'm always living in the future mentally, I haven't been able to take a step back and actually live in the present. This is something I wish I had did more over the past few years, instead of just constantly rushing and being in a mad frenzy and always feeling behind. And so for me now, I'm really trying to strike that perfect balance of, yes, still living in the future and always focusing on the new version of myself and what's coming next, but finding moments of peace and moments of beauty every single day to take a step back, be grateful, breathe, be present, and enjoy where I currently am on the journey. So yeah, even when you make it, you're gonna face just as many struggles as when you're starting. And after hearing this, if you're okay with everything that I talked about, if it fires you up, if in fact you're excited to go on this journey, then I encourage you. Rapid success might cost you a little bit of your mental sanity, but eventually you'll figure it out. Eventually you'll build your community back. Eventually you'll find moments to find gratitude and peace and enjoy the present instead of always living in the future, because I believe in you. And also I'm here to help you. And I want to make it clear that the whole purpose of this video isn't to scare you away from going down this path. It's just to tell you the truth of what you can expect when you become an entrepreneur and you set your own path, so that you're prepared and maybe you can avoid some of the mistakes that I did and find a smarter, better, and less mentally taxing route forward. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a very raw, honest perspective take off the top of my head. I tried to recollect as much as I could over the past few years, from starting with nothing and then making it, and I really hope that you can learn something or find something valuable in what I've shared here today. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if I missed anything, or let me know where you're currently at in the journey and what you're experiencing and going through. Just remember to enjoy every day for what it's worth, every moment. Don't do what I did. Don't always be in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in a few days. Peace.